It has ink in it. Too bad.
It does.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm the one that's non-existent today because I'm hot and don't want the light on. And the darkness and just me in the darkness, it's not attractive. You know, you need the backing of the light. This heat has been sucky.
I've had heat madness set in, so...
I mean, it makes my normal madness worse.
I'm sitting in a 64-degree apartment.
I hate you and your air conditioning.
I have a window air conditioner, but it doesn't work very well.
I have
we
a
have
fan
central
on me.
air, so...
Yeah. I have a fan on me. Like, I can feel like I'm just sweating just sitting here, and it's just awful.
I would literally die.
It's actually dropped like 15 degrees now that the sun is going away, so you know.
My room will retain the warmth until about, like, 2 in the morning, because my room is the worst in the household, and retains the most heat or the most cold. So,
And you're on the second floor, so...
yes, that combined makes it really terrible. I really need, like, a third fan, just, like, blowing air out of the room, you know, just to get the maximum circulation.
86 degrees outside right now.
It's probably
like 70, 72 here.
Probably still like 90 where I'm at right now in my room.
Yeah, it's somewhere in the 90s or 100s here.
Do you have air? Glare.
My air does not glare.
I would have everyone have air, you know?
So, hi everybody. We're going to be playing some D&D here in just a minute. If you missed our session 2 weeks ago, it was an exciting one. The lot of you led a battle against a bunch of... Well, you were involved in a battle against a bunch of cultists. Got a lot of them murdered. Freed a Lich man who left then.
Also good.
Yep.
No.
I'm gonna kill him.
I still think that was a bad idea.
You need to kill the witch first.
There's a list of people who need to die.
People.
I think the Lich is a little more at the bottom.
Yeah.
I can kill as many people as I damn well please.
Yeah, I'll help.
You will make the legal system of this country, so that is true.
No, you're going to be the one making the legal system after you buy out the entire country.
That's not my problem. I don't want this fucking place.
Yeah, none of us do.
You could probably get it for a steal.
You could probably get it for a steal.
I'm going to build my boat and then dip.
One fresh Urborg. Anybody interested in it?
Slightly used.
Slightly used.
I wouldn't consider it fresh.
One swamp-ass Urborg.
Yeah. Or rotting Urborg because, you know, zombies.
It's only got... it's not all zombies. If it was oops all zombies, that'd be different.
Hey, the area around the tower is prime real estate now, so...
Yeah.
It's not.
It's also
highly
free real
cursed.
estate.
It's also crumbling.
You're all bad at real estate.
It's also crumbling, and probably even more so after the hurricane.
You're not making
I'm
a good sale.
librarian, I don't sell houses.
It's a fixer-upper.
No, that was the mansion. That was the fixer-upper.
I mean, it was. And horribly, horribly evil and cursed, and etc., etc. But, so... Yeah, you got a tower. The remains of the battle are kind of being taken account. Currently, your allied forces are, you know, doing their best to check out everything, see what's going on, take stock of it, clear out any remaining resistance as they can. There's a lot of the undead are gone, a lot of the threats are gone, but there are still bits and pieces that are left over. It seems the majority of what was left have escaped from the tower, at least. Those of you that are around the tower can find that it is seemingly abandoned.
Now that I'm assuming that we're probably going to take a rest after that battle.
Your option right now, the battle is just finished. You have the option of trying to rest. You have the option about what you want to do.
I mean, I think it would be probably a good idea, and also, I I'm going to pull out the Lich Journal, and I want to see what language is it in. Is it in Common?
Yeah, it's in the common language.
Okay. Kaz?
I'm in incredible amounts of pain.
Yes.
Kaz is missing an arm.
Oh, yeah.
Carrie is looking a little, actually quite literally green.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I suggest we, set up camp and lick our wounds.
Why would we lick them?
I don't. This arm was in a giant undead frog. I'm not going to lick
You
it.
might want to get a bath, honestly.
I don't trust any water here. I think it would just make it doubly infected.
Cole, can you create one?
Let me just check my staff. I think I do have Create or Destroy Water. I can just trade you a bath. Sure. You want 10 gallons of clean water?
Sure.
I go
You
find
need
somewhere
some
to put the water so it doesn't leak everywhere.
Do you need some soap? I have soap.
I'm gonna go, I don't know, do something else. You're being weird about me now. This is weird.
Nice at offering you soap.
Yeah, I know, it's weird. I've never done that before. It doesn't make sense. Being nice to me. What the fuck does that mean?
What do you mean?
Kaz isn't used to you guys being just openly nice and supportive. It's always casual antagonism.
Oh, actually, I have a chest. You can put the water in the chest.
Is the chest watertight?
Stop. It doesn't matter. I'm not dying right now. I'm just missing an arm. And I'll fix it later.
Well, no matter what,
Are you
I
going
think...
to have me cut off your arm eventually?
See, exactly. It just happens sooner rather than later.
Well, no matter what, I think we should rest a little bit, and I want to see what's in this Lich Journal.
Honestly, I'm just happy that they're not criticizing our wonderful plan that we executed, Carrion.
Okay.
It was a wonderful plan and it was executed perfectly.
Canthus, I have a dumb question.
Okay.
The guy who teleported away, he was like a leader dude, right?
He's one of them.
Right. Would you say that having interacted with him more than once, I am familiar enough with him to do a sending spell to sass him that his big monster died?
Probably not.
Damn it.
Can I do it? I don't have the spell sending. Could it be funny?
No.
Alright.
You didn't even met him. You did not even meet him.
I've met him.
No.
No?
No.
No, it was just
the
Cole.
only two
Cole and
people
I
that met him were Cole and Claude. Claude spent the
Oh,
most
yeah.
time with him.
I was thinking of a different person
Like if
that we don't like.
Claude could try to might be able to try to send.
Yeah, I don't have sending.
I don't know, I'll go like before.
I mean, if he was within 30 feet, I could try to mentally talk to him.
I'll just hang out and not sass a villain.
I mean, I can understand the need to sass villains. Don't worry.
Yeah, this one can't choke me through a hologram like the one you keep doing, does Canthus.
Good times.
Well, I'm going to spend time reading a Lich Journal.
Okay.
I'm gonna go find my brother and call him an idiot.
He seems to be doing some cleanup on some undead forces right now.
I'll probably help out with killing anything that remains, honestly.
Yeah. He's managing to secure the area. After which, he will join in a ceremonial victory revelry that there will be.
What horse piss is this?
Well, if they're celebrating, Cole's getting involved, dude.
There's like him and his crew are enjoying it, and they're bonding over victory with a bunch of the rebels.
I'll play some music too. I have a fucking instrument. 15, that's okay.
I don't have time to explain why I'm mad.
I'm just gonna roll this d20. Let's see here.
You're rolling for.
All right. Their bard does a pretty good job of putting on a thing, and let's just give one more roll
I
here.
forgot I have a +10 to pick.
And the druid will join in singing, and 3 of you will put it on. There was many losses to the rebel forces, of course.
Some of them due to us.
I don't know what you're talking. No, okay, not me. I did my job.
No one knows where this horrible shadow army
No one
came
knows
from.
where the shadow army came from. It's fine.
Yeah.
I can make a pretty good guess.
None of them know where it came from.
I know where it's from because he did it in my office.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do it in your office. It did it in your office.
Isn't it also you?
Yeah,
it
it's
is my
not like-
shadow. It is a separate thing of me.
It's not a solid argument.
I mean, one
It
of
does
them
not
is
live
more.
within me.
One of them technically lives within you.
Yes,
a little
but
Their commander, basically. But yes. So, there will be much celebration and revelry, and all of you can get a rest and join in it. The rebels are securing the tower in the nearby area.
do I learn anything useful from the journal?
Sure. The journal is effectively like a history of this man. And it starts out probably about 300 years ago, honestly, around the time that, or it might be a little less than that. I have to remember exactly how many years it was. But effectively, like a few decades before the overlay, when Rath merged with Dominaria. About this man's time on Rath. It gives a basic history. He was a member of a family that was part of the those that served the Evankars. His family always did. He was quite ambitious, and it seemed as though he eliminated some of the competition in order to get his position eventually. A lot of it is very simplistic, at least early on. There's not like a large amount of history in that part of it. But it kind of gives you an idea that he had a very powerful rise to power in amongst his group. Did I say they were Ildal or Ilvek?
Give me a second.
Please let me know, because it has been a while since I said, and I'd have to look up where I...
Yeah, I'm looking at my notes. Give me just a moment.
I do not know.
Creating pound.
Ilvek. Okay, so he's Ilvek.
Former master of the Ilvek.
He found himself in a position where gaining control of the Ilvek seemed both good and bad to him. He always had ambition amongst his people, and no qualms about doing the wrong thing to get that power. But once he was in the position of it, he got to see a lot more of what it meant to be in that position. It's sort of like he didn't expect what the Evankars and stuff were doing. Granted, he also had a fear of a man named Grevin. One of his kin, who was even more higher up than him. But he found this man, according to him, found himself not in charge of the the city of traders like he was. Instead, he found himself leading the Evankar's armies. And he assumed strange experiments were done to the man. He had seen some of what was going on there. His time there certainly filled him with a lot of dread. Eventually, though, it seems as though something happened. The Evankar disappeared. Volrath did not return. And as that happened, another individual took over. A seemingly more dangerous individual. I have to remember his name. Sorry, give me a second here. Krovax. As much as Volrath was dangerous, Volrath was described as probably being more of a scientist at heart, an experimenter, someone who led with probably more intelligence, still ambition and dark, twisted ideas, but nonetheless, one who led with their mind. Krovax led a lot with his passions. And our Lich friend found himself positioned inside the main tower, especially with a number of his own kin during the end times, when the Phyrexians were planning the overlay. They were to effectively coordinate amongst the ill tribes for the overlay. It switches to after the overlay. Like time passes in the journal. Apparently the overlay went wrong, according to him. Something didn't happen correctly. Many of the facilities that should have materialized and many of the people that should have materialized didn't. The entire city of traders did not appear on Dominaria. He did not understand how this happened. Certainly, filled him with dread. The city of traders was located originally in one of the underground chambers. Some of the underground chambers just disappeared. Access to the furnace seemed to have been cut off. The cavern the city of traders was supposed to be in was empty when it was discovered. The route to it more difficult to find. There's an account of the war, and it ends up with him talking about plans to effectively take a bunch of things and run. He was a politician more than anything and no invader, is the way he described himself. And that is the last thing. There is a general idea of some of the locations within the tower that did exist. Unfortunately, since the tower is heavily damaged, it's hard to say. You can think you can find your way to the cavern of the city of traders. Now, granted, from what you can tell, that is below the stronghold, but the furnace was deeper. if you want to try to find the furnace and a way to it, that might be a way on the path.
Okay.
So, you can all rest up. At least get a short rest in. If you want to take a long rest, let me know. That is going to involve some other things happening.
Short rest is fine with me.
I mean, I'm fine with a short rest because
I still have plenty of spell slots in case something weird happens.
abilities, short rest.
So, I still have a decent amount of spell slots, and despite losing an arm, I actually haven't taken any damage.
Mm-hmm. And probably we can just say if you did, you can get some healers to help you out, because, they're around.
I'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get my brother to do lay on hands and heal any damage. He'd do it, the selfless prick.
You're using your brother for your own selfish needs.
Yeah.
How dare you?
You met him? He's a, abrasive asshole. No, I'm the abrasive asshole. He's just annoying.
You are, in fact, the abrasive asshole, but it's fine. You are abrasive asshole.
He's just annoying.
I think I can get us down to the cavern that should have had the City of Traders. The furnace would be deeper underground, but that would be a starting point.
All right.
Also, Gary,
Yeah?
I know you like history.
I do, in fact, like history, yeah?
Would you like to read at some point?
Yes.
It's the Lich's journal.
You're asking me if I want to read.
Figured it would be yes.
I'm a librarian. I want to, at the very least, copy this so that I can have it for my personal records.
That's fine. But that's why I figured you might want to look over.
Yes, I want to look over it. Totally forgot I also have Eyes of the Ruin Keeper, which means I can read all writings.
Well, that's good, because I was a language I couldn't use, then I could have tapped you. But it's in common.
Yeah, I know. Just someone help me remember that if we ever come up against something we're supposed to read. It's like, none of you read it. I'm like, yeah, I do.
You read everything.
I read all.
You don't speak all.
I do not
So you
speak
can
all.
easily separate yourselves away from the rebel forces that continue to, take over what's left of the tower, and head a little ways away to the entrance that was found. It was a set of caverns that seemed to connect together to the underground cavern of where the formerly City of Traders was held. It was where the Ilvek, beneath the Evankar Tower, held their thing. The Evankar Tower originally was like a massive spire that went below ground, but there was also like cavernous side, like a big old chasm surrounding it, so you could go to some of these lower levels. The chasm disappeared, so a lot of that shit was just shoved underground. To apparently mixed results. Didn't seem to work as well as at least was planned. It overlay. So, it'll take you a little while to fit there, but you can definitely make your way down into the depths. The cavern itself, they take a little bit to navigate, but they're not impossible. They're a little maze-like, and certainly there's something just odd about the entire place. Specifically, Claud, you just can feel there's something weird about the entire place. Just something feels strangely off.
Well, I'll keep a lookout for anything, magical. 'Cause, my eyes. Anyone else feel odd down here?
Can I put on the monocle and see if there's any weird shit?
Sure.
Any weird shit?
This is surprisingly large. Like, even just raw black mana in the air, there's a surprisingly large amount of it. This place is just choked with energy.
Seems fine. I mean, ridiculously concentrated black mana, but I was kind of expecting that, so.
We are in Urborg.
It's true.
Yeah. I just feel off. Let's just be careful. We don't know if there could be any traps or anything down here either.
When have we ever not been careful?
Literally every day of our lives.
It was a rhetorical question.
Well, you should have said it rhetorically then.
I did.
You didn't.
Okay, I forgot some things. The reason that there was, like, the chasm around it, it was built in the center of a volcano originally. And then so, like, so everything was, like, suspended in the center of the volcano. And at the heart of the volcano is where the furnace was.
Oh.
Originally. So. Certainly the entire place here, the feeling gets more choking. And when you finally emerge out into the caverns, there's just this choking darkness that, Claude, you feel it. And there's this voice in your mind as you enter into it. The shadows consume.
You already ate today.
No, can you see it?
I'll look around. Do I see anything odd?
It's just a gigantic open cavern.
I see darkness.
Look closer.
I'm gonna make a perception.
Roll an insight check. Yeah.
Okay.
Alright. So you're gonna spend some time being, like, confused at with the voice that seems to be your own voice in your head kind of thing, talking. As, like, your shadow flickers into the form of its more monstrous version. The swirling darkness takes shapes. You realize you can see it here. There's an entire city here, made of shadow, hidden in the darkness.
The city's here. I think it's almost between realms.
What?
The
That's weird.
A little weird, yeah.
well, the overlay didn't work the way they thought it was going to. I think the city of traders is kind of stuck.
Interesting.
You're saying a lot of things, man.
You said it was like all shadowy. DM.
For you, it's just darkness. For the rest of you, it's just like a dark cavern, empty.
My weird shadow nonsense don't do nothing. Out of curiosity. Because I do have
You do.
shadow sorcerer stuff.
As Claude mentions it, you try to concentrate on the area. You don't see it like he does, but you do sense there's something here in the shadows. Almost like it's the entire cavern is an entity.
Well, there's certainly something here. I can see that.
I'm going to think more that
So, Claud.
Drexel. Yeah.
You're calling him out to him?
Yeah, mentally.
Yeah. Yes.
Is this where your people went?
No. These are weaklings. They do not embrace the darkness like we do. They scream in agony and pain. Look at them, suffering and not embracing their madness. We understood what it meant to be monsters. They just weep and cry. We should consume them. Every last one. Teach them the true meaning of darkness and suffering.
You've consumed enough for today.
The hunger never ends.
Yes, but I can't let you eat everything.
It is quiet. It makes no sense. Response to that.
Yeah.
It just sort of fades. You can see that, like, it's not perfect. And you think you can only see it because, honestly, you have one of these creatures or something similar to it in it.
Right.
But its city is inhabited. Perhaps by thousands. It is just bustling with strange activity that you're not sure if these things are just going about some kind of motion or they're wandering around aimlessly in here. But they don't seem to leave this place. They just wander the darkness.
Do they seem like they're in pain?
You can't tell. Because you can't see them perfectly. You sort of
Right.
see an aspect of them. You know, it's sort of like your...
Kind of like seeing something out of the corner of your eye.
Yeah. Your shadow creatures. The ones within you. The, Drixel.
Yeah.
Drixel manifests in a way. It is a creature of shadows and a creature almost between worlds, but it, in a way, draws itself through the veil into reality partially. It seems that that's, from your knowledge of it, that's most likely what caused its twisting. That's why a lot of the Dothi are very monstrous, because their desire to return to the world allowed them to, but it twisted them into true monsters. And even then, they're not truly in the world. They're only partially in it. These things are even less than them. These things are, like, truly between worlds. I best describe it, this entire, like, city seems to be on the edge of reality. Almost like it's in a bubble similar to what Kaz makes. But a bubble with a broken boundary. So this might happen if, let's say, someone wins the bag and you pierce the bag from the inside. This might happen to whatever's in there. Because it's exposed to the outside of the plane, but also still partially connected to it. A broken bubble.
I don't think I'm gonna let you inside the bag anymore.
I don't want to go inside the bag that often.
You have made multiple attempts to stay in the bag.
Not to stay in, to go in it occasionally. And it has worked out useful at those times.
Oh, I know you're gonna pop it from the inside, and that nobody's not in there except Kaz now.
I don't want to pop it. Popping the bag when I'm on the inside is not a good idea. I don't want to get stuck between
Seems
worlds.
like a fine plan. What's the worst that could happen? You know, it's for science.
It
What's
seems...
the worst that could happen? You didn't seem to want to ask that question about the Lich. I don't know why you're asking it now. Fucking bullshit plan.
More important. It seems there is a city here and not here. And its inhabitants are still existing in some form. I think when the overlay happened, they kind of got trapped between their world and ours.
Are they dangerous to us?
I don't think they can fully manifest into our reality.
Okay. Then it shouldn't be an issue for us to go down there and explore.
I can't say 100%.
Well, does anyone have any objections to going down there?
Not particularly.
I'm sure it's a horrible idea, but also, let's go.
Yes. I have experience with this.
If needed, I could try to take my shadow form and see if I could communicate with any of them.
It also sounds like a bad idea.
Yeah, if we get lost in the directions, maybe, but save it as the last resort.
Don't know how much information they would actually have anyway.
Great, so then it's not necessary to do it.
You think there could be something you could do that doesn't involve taking your shadow form if you don't want to do that? You're not sure how much you'll be able to pick up from it. But
Maybe
you do
my telepathy?
Yeah. You can connect with things. You might be able to reach out, get something.
I could try to read one of their surface thoughts, see what's going on with them.
Alright.
Seems less dangerous.
Yeah, it's fine.
Your brain, not mine. Don't drink my blood.
Drink your blood. Got
Drink
it.
his blood. It's a great idea.
Always drink Cass's blood.
It's delicious.
If I was physically able to get that blood back.
It's just funny because it's just like, what happens if I tried it and it's actually addictive?
It's like,
Take a little sip every now and then.
you're just hanging around Kaz, just like walk up behind him, you're like, just have a little. Come on, don't worry about it.
Develop you just a little bit.
I'll strike you.
I mean, it's harder to strike it now. You've only got one arm.
Yeah.
I'll
And I
make
can-
it work.
You'll figure it out.
Okay, so I will get closer to one of these beings and try to see if I can detect surface thoughts.
All right. you can kind of dive into the mind of this creature. It's strange. You can sense something off the bat very easily without much check. There's just this like pain or suffering that it seems to exist within it. But there's more than that. Give me an insight check first, just to see about it. All right. It's very hard to read it. It seems to be doing something. You're not sure. You're trying to read this thing, and there's this like constant like pain that seems to exist in it is just very existence, the constant suffering, but it also seems to be doing something. You just can't tell what. At least it's not with this one. It's moving somewhere, traveling by you.
I'm going to try to follow it and see if I can figure out what it might be doing.
Okay. You can give me another insight check then. As Claud wanders around a cavern.
That's fine.
You don't just wander. You have, oh my god.
It's like a giant open cavern, so he's just kind of
It'll be fine, probably.
Yeah.
I'm the one with the archaeology degree.
You're not the one who can read minds.
It's just almost living out its what you think is its last day in existence. It's just repeating it.
So it's basically stuck in like a limbo.
Yeah. It suffers, but it doesn't quite understand what's going on because it's in this limbo. It's odd. You get the feeling that maybe it might not be good to like awaken it from its torment, because it's sort of like right now in this limbo it doesn't understand the horrible pain and suffering it's in, because it's just like in a mindless state almost. But if you jostle it out, all the more awfulness of this existence might come back and like haunt it, kind of thing.
Gotcha. So don't push.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I was actually debating about. Should I
You
try?
might be able to pick up something about what's going on with it, though. That's the only thing I can say. Like, a little bit of sort of reading it, you could at least maybe learn a little bit about this area if you were to like read a bunch of these people. Maybe try to find someone that seems important. Because like you think you could get like bits of their thoughts.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't do it to another. I can't cast it again because I can cast Detect Thoughts once a day without taking a long. Then I have to take a long rest.
No, I'm talking about your telepathy.
Just the telepathy.
Just
okay.
the telepathy, because it's sort of like as you're communicating with it, it says stuff back, basically. Like,
Right. Okay.
It's not being like, you really can't use Detect Thoughts on it. Its mind doesn't exist that way. But
Gotcha.
like
So
when you,
I'm just basically doing my telepathy and getting
a fraction,
vague-
yeah. It's basically a couple of thoughts that it's having, that it's just transmitting, that you can pick
Gotcha.
up on. Stuff about like, it took you a minute to like start interpreting that, and that's what it was like. Your first check, it was hard to read that, but your second one, as you're following it, you're beginning to pick up those like words and stuff too. Like, one of them going to, whatever this one was, picking up something from the market.
Okay.
Had to go make dinner.
Guys, hang around for a few moments. I'm able to understand what they're thinking of it. They seem to be in a repetitive limbo of their last day, but I might be able to understand what's going on a little bit better given a little more time.
Okay.
Don't mind me while I follow these guys you can't see.
All right.
I think he's just going insane.
Cole, you could probably help him a little bit.
Sure, I'll try.
You don't pick up as nearly as much, but you do sense there are things in the area, and certainly more than just sensing like, okay, there's something here. Like, you could begin to understand like maybe what was in the area and stuff like that. You know,
Okay. Yeah,
the buildings leave a more readable shadow than the living beings.
Okay.
Because it's a physical structure, an animate structure that's been changed like this. It's solid, you know. It isn't fractured by thought, if that's a way you can understand it. Because it's the entire city is in the shadows, buildings and all.
Okay. Yeah, I'll help Claud along, guide him around.
Yeah. Certainly you have a lot more idea bureaucracy. And knowing what you did from the Lich's journal, you can find your way to an area where there are those that would be in charge of this place. And begin reading them and understanding them. And you could learn a few things. Certainly they were preparing for the overlay. Most of the general citizenry did not seem to know about that it was going to occur. Not at all.
That's kind of horrifying. You might just wake up one day in another world, don't understand what the hell's going on.
These people were just servants that worked directly for the effing cars. They also were probably like at their beck and call. They didn't need to do something. Probably a lot of them were trained as shock troopers. The shock troopers knew something was happening that was going to require military. That's all. Their, families and stuff like that, also went with them to serve. They didn't know anything. They weren't told anything. And even the details of this military exercise doesn't seem to have been spread amongst them.
Okay, so I'll focus in on the leaders then here.
You also get a sense that most of those troops weren't here. They were probably in the upper tower, ready for the overlay. Yeah. Didn't even know that their families and their supporting group were just gone and twisted to this realm, probably. Most of them probably fought with that first wave, died, and did not know. It's a little terrible.
Yeah.
Only a little terrible.
Just a little bit horrific.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not surprising with these people.
It seems there were ways that were secured that you will hear about. That leads from the here. One of the talks about a number of the remaining guards. Will have thoughts of sending them to secure the main entrances to the routes out, to the death pits, to the furnace, and to the gardens. You can follow these groups and find out there does seem to be 2 hidden areas out of here.
Okay.
One of them leads to what is called the Death Pits,
Hmm.
or theoretically used to. Might not now. The other is the Gardens.
That sounds like a nicer place.
That garden's probably horrific. The
Trap.
death is probably much nicer.
I think it's a trap. I think the gardens are a bad place with, I don't know, dragons or something.
Plants.
Yeah, those 2.
Plants are
Yeah.
good.
I thought you were going to say dragon. I thought you said ants. I'm like, dragon ants?
Yes.
Yes.
Dragon ants. Also dragon uncles.
Yeah.
I was thinking like ants that
No.
were like half dragon.
Yeah, and uncles that are half dragon.
Claude, you can give me a history check with advantage. You might know about some of these places.
Okay. I actually have a decent history. If I remember correctly.
Can't say that in this party.
I have
I
the
said
best history.
decent. I didn't say the best. I got 11.
All right. You have some memories of people from Rath, and so certainly enough to piece together something like thinking about this, and especially because one of your people was an Ilvec.
Yes.
That was in. That is, it makes you up. So there were known to be 3 ways one could access the Stronghold. Unfortunately, from the sky. Well, 4 ways, I would say. The sky, but then you'd have to worry about the Predator and a lot of horrible flying creatures, murdering you. It was probably, in fact, the most dangerous and deadly way to go. It's the way that was watched. Second,
Right.
one could enter into the ancient lava tubes and find your way deep that way under the surface of Rath and make your way into the furnace directly. That volcano doesn't exist anymore. There's another volcano that was nearby to the current tower, but it's, not close enough to really matter at this point in time. There were things that involved that one, but we're not talking about that one right now. And that has its own lava tube systems, much different than the one that originally happened. Probably doesn't connect up to anything useful. Also, it's kind of a little active right now. Probably don't want to mess around with that. Second, the Death Pits. A series of chambers that broke through the mountainous side of the volcano and eventually led into around the area of the City of Traders. The Death Pits were known to be a location that held creatures known as Carrionettes. Puppet-like undead created from the Death Pits.
Did they look like Carrie?
No.
Good.
Because the Death Pits are created of a similar substance that, remembering your memory, your original makeup might be based on combining what was made in the Death Pits with flowstone. The Death Pits were a black, oily, sentient substance that just consumed everything that ended up there. Memories and life force all. Very slowly. And then would take what's left over from the consumed things, indigestible bones, weapons, armor, and make them into undead-like puppets.
So it could be my birthplace.
It's your other half. Yeah. So... yeah.
So we actually want to go to the depths.
I mean, that's probably a really horrible place to go to. if it's still active. Especially for you. The gardens, on the other hand, well, they're Volrath's gardens. You're not sure how active they'd be now. They've been underground for like 300 years. But this was the overland route that led to the edge of the crater. There was basically a crack in the crater. Because normally, it's a big caldera of a volcano that leads up where the tower is. There was a valley almost that led through it. The gardens went through the valley. Also led around to where the city of traders were. Most of the plants there and the things that were there, not pleasant, but probably less pleasant. And the plants were probably mostly all carnivorous. Look again, getting like transportation on like the Predator is probably the easiest way to get in there. And if you work for them, you can get a ride. You don't have to walk through the various horrible places that are like the access ways into this place.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that is not an option.
Some of these things could theoretically connect with the others, especially now things have been rearranged.
Yes.
But I would warn you, the death pits are probably, if they're still active, both more dangerous and more unusual because they probably are similar to like, how Phyrexian oil, they're probably like, this is not nanomachines, it's just semi-conscious, oily, horrible material. It's probably like...
It's like an ooze.
Yeah. Probably someone was trying to like develop something based upon Phyrexian oil and created this thing. Maybe an organic version of it, almost. An actual organic version of it.
Okay.
The gardens might be the safest.
Yeah. So,
Plants.
guys,
Yeah.
we have possibly two options here. We could go to possibly part of my predecessor's birthplace, which would be, if it's still active, horrific for all of us, especially me.
Sounds fun.
Or we could go to Volrath's gardens, which, if there's still part of the gardens there, is full of carnivorous plants.
Plants.
I think the carnivorous plants would be safer.
Flammable.
I have magic that kills plants.
I do too.
Yes, and I don't think I'm as tasty to them.
You could have just not told us about the first option.
Yeah, honestly, let's go with plants.
Yeah, that seems like the better choice.
Plants
As
are...
much as I like seeing trauma happen, let's not do that. Let's go plants.
Fantastic plants.
Ray, I just was giving the full picture. So let's go tiptoe through some tulips.
Less trauma and a horrible ooze creature that is a living thing that is in a cavern that consumes all that enters into it and turns mind and body and soul, and then turns what's left over them into like living slime marionettes to fight anything that enters.
You know what? I've changed my mind.
Yeah, really sold me on it, man.
Wow. Now there is a real estate agent.
Uh-huh. You're welcome.
None of us have a real estate license.
Let's go tiptoe through some carnivorous tulips.
All right.
Because
I'm kidding.
it's a song.
Yes. Certainly. You can make your way deep in through the tunnels. I will need someone to make a survival check to navigate a little bit.
Alright, this is the character that's not good at survival.
I can
I
try.
have a +4.
I have a +6.
Yeah, go with you.
I mean, if someone wants to assist me,
Wait, what was the check?
survival.
Yeah, good luck, man.
I
Does
mean,
anyone-
I think I can technically assist since, I mean, I have a +4.
If you fuck up, I'll give you a +5.
Well, she assists. I at least get advantage. That's why I was saying that. So let's see what happens. 21,
Nah, I'll
20.
let you have it.
Okay.
You don't need the +5. You're fine.
Yeah.
So, you'll make your way deep through the caverns. And certainly, these caves, they're just winding. But honestly, it feels better to get away from that shadowy area. You know, it feels nice to not be there and deal with that.
I figured as much. A lot of residual energy that's not even good vibes.
Eventually, though, you will see there is light in the tunnel ahead.
I don't know if that's good or bad.
Both.
Keeping an eye out for anything magical.
Nothing directly magical. You are going to emerge into a massive underground jungle. It seems to be lit by a number of what looks to be magma waterfalls. The glow of the volcanic material providing a massive amount of light. And what appears to be a strange number of glowing geodes on the ceiling. This place is actually fairly bright.
Pretty baller, all things considered.
Neat.
Does there seem to be anything alive?
Everything. It's a jungle.
Oh yeah, it's junk. You said
There.
Uh-huh.
Everything's alive. The floors, the lava.
Yeah.
so. Be careful of the flora and fauna.
I wonder if I can talk to it.
You can try.
I'm not gonna waste my spell slot on that.
Okay.
So what do we want to do about this?
So, Carrie, I'm going to give you something here that's very easy. Like, just something about this place feels hostile?
Really?
Yeah.
Don't say.
Shocked.
Just saying.
Great.
Yeah. I figured. That's why I don't want to talk to the plants. Because I feel like they're going to be mean to me and then I'm going to cry.
They're gonna
feel
tell
like-
you to F off.
Oh man, we should have brought the blight gun.
To be fair, I just have blight.
I also
No, but the
have
one
like-
that like drains vitality to then turn into health potions.
That would have been useful, yes.
It's like arguably the most fucked up gun we have.
But we also did not expect to be going into a jungle inside of Urborg.
What else do I have? Is I have a spell called Firestorm.
That's fine.
Oh, I got like fireball, fire like fucking igniter scorcher. I got like fire on fire, man. We could just. Do you want to just make a fire? Do you want me to just do a fire here? I can just do a fire here to clear this whole thing out.
I feel like that's a-
There's a lot of lava here too.
Oh, even easier. Then I don't even need to do anything. I can just, knock it over.
But life might be adapted to the heat down here.
Do you want me to talk to the plants, though? I can if you want me to.
But I don't. I think they're going to be mean.
They are, but you know.
I don't know if you can reason with plants.
Oh no, I'm not talking about reasoning with them. I'm just saying talk to them.
For what purpose?
I don't know. Could be funny.
To
Get some
ask
information
them,
out of them.
ask them to let us through.
Yeah, if they're carnivorous, they're probably not going to be like. They're probably like, yeah, we'll let you through. Chomp.
I knew a plant like that once. His name was Audrey.
I don't believe you.
Oh,
What a
there's
weird,
Audrey, too.
what a weird name for a plant.
Right? It was a very weird name for a plant.
I thought it was Audrey too.
It,
God damn it.
I couldn't fit the two in.
Well, shall we light a fire?
We could just burn.
I don't think we should burn like everything though.
Or Cole and I can do a lot of blighting.
I mean, we could just try to, clear a path through.
Up to you folks, what you want to do.
Is there like, are we at a higher point up that we could see down, or are we like pretty level with everything?
You're coming out kind of level on this like edge of this
Okay.
jungle. You're not sure how big this cavern is. The cavern is big. It's a big cavern. As I said, like there's the weird almost like glowing stars, but they're like kind of like crystals on the ceiling that shed like a lot of light. They're very bright. And then of course lava sheds a lot of light, and you can see there's at least 3 waterfalls off in the distance. They're coming from somewhere above.
So it is tall,
Just checking
Yes.
something real fast.
and I can scout it out.
You could.
Do I
Yeah,
get
you could just fly above everything and see how safe or unsafe it is.
to have this one?
Let's be smart about this and let me just, go fly it real quick.
I am fine with that.
Do you want to bring me with for an extra set of eyes?
Sure, you can just go in the bag.
You can also fly, but with magic.
I mean, sure, so can I.
But
But
I
I,
can
requires
just
less
fly
magic.
as a person. I have wings.
if you want like an extra set of eyes,
I
that aren't
have
very,
no eyes for
aren't
an
very
extra
good.
size.
Actually, I have decent eyes.
I don't have fly stocked, so it's a moot point for me.
I mean, I could turn into something that can fly, but
I do have levitate.
you could just hover above everything.
Just,
Like
should
Gary
be
could
fine.
push
I-
you.
I'll save my spell slot.
I was gonna say I'll T-pose, but I'm missing an arm, so I can't just T-pose.
You can have T-pose.
7 pose.
Okay.
I'm taking Kaz and I'm scouting it out.
All right. So the jungle is massive. You think about halfway up, like there's a little bit of like an opening where you were at, because there's like kind of rocks and rubble that seems to have choked away some of the plants where your entrance was. But otherwise, it is incredibly thick jungle that seems to fill up the majority of this area. And there are a couple of strange trees and structures that seem to get up above the tree line and go almost all the way up to the ceiling. These strange trees that are covered in vines, which kind of like go down all the way to the ground. And what looks to be weird multi-layered mushrooms, almost as if it's a group of mushrooms growing in and out of each other. And the caps of the mushrooms are like maybe like 30 feet across.
I don't think I should eat those.
No.
it seems as though it's kind of hard to maneuver around without getting close to any of these. Do you mind getting close to any of these?
I feel like that's a bad idea. Give me a second to see if there's things that I have as being a spore druid.
Yes.
There might
You can make zombies.
be. Yeah.
Yes, I just want to know, like, if they try to poison me, is it gonna, like, not do good things to me? Oh, wait. I have resistance to poison. Just being a demon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure, let's get close to the mushrooms. I like mushrooms.
Alright, I'm gonna need Constitution save. You'll have advantage.
I am in the bag. Am I good?
You're
you
gonna
have your
have
head
to make a
out?
save also with advantage.
Jesus.
Okay. Are these airborne?
Yes, it's something in the air, but it doesn't need to be breathed in.
Oh. If it doesn't, it does. Well,
No.
I gotta look up what my lungs do.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think they give me a thing, but regardless. Advantage, Constitution save 23. Snag a 5 over to Carrion.
Cool. That is helpful, as granting her that bonus prevents horrible amounts of spores from burrowing into her flesh and beginning to grow.
I mean, they do that anyway. I'm a spore druid.
I mean, these would also, like, you feel, like, tired in the area around them. As if, like, you know, you're, like, kind of, like, brushing them off, as, like, you're feeling, like, spores on your flesh that are trying to, like, kind of, like, it's kind of, like, painful to kind of, like, into you. Like, it feels like it's trying to burrow. But also, like, you're getting just kind of tired around there.
Let's make a note. Avoid mushrooms.
Note made.
I'll just give you then, if you get closer to the trees, you notice that some of the vines begin to move. Both of you are pretty observant. As if reacting to you approaching them.
Okay. The lungs just give me advantage on saves against bad gases.
These were flesh-burrowing spores.
Hey. Hey, this whole place
Yeah?
sucks.
Yeah.
Cool.
Kaz, you do notice the vines are moving, right?
Yeah.
Okay, make a note of that too.
Yes.
Avoid vines if possible. They move and do not like you.
You also notice, like, there does seem to be animal life here. Very large insects.
I was gonna ask if there are spores.
Oh yeah, writing down avoiding large insects.
Seems as though they can either, like, feed on some of these horrible plants or be fed upon.
You want to go back and try the death pit?
No.
I mean, not really. I think we'll be okay as long as we avoid a lot of shit.
You will notice
How-
there does seem to be a network of lava rivers that goes through the entire area. Most of them are in, like, these, like, they're not, like, at surface level, they're, like, down a number of feet, like, little, like chasms. So they're providing a lot of heat, but they also are, like, you know, providing light and stuff to the entire area. Maybe even nutrients of some kind that are being fed upon.
Now, I've played a lot of Legend of Zelda. If we do create water on the lava, do we get a cool rock, like stone raft that we can ride on?
You could probably make something if you did it right. That's not easy to actually make a raft, but you could try. Also, it'd still be very hot. I think the only one that wouldn't mind it would be Carrie, because demon.
Well, I'd be in the bag.
It could change into something where it wouldn't mind it so much.
Cole would have trouble. He's just a dude.
I'm just a dude with a stick, guys.
Yeah. It's lava temperatures. It's not pleasant to be near. But it theoretically is safer than being around horrible carnivorous plants and horrible giant, like, ranging from dog to horse-sized insects. Like that big dragonfly the size of like a sheep. Up, it just got eaten by one of the trees.
Hmm.
You know, the trees need their nutrients too. This place is even more deadly than Urborg typically is.
Yeah, I know.
I like it.
Everything here was bred to be horribly deadly and prevent people from walking through it. It was made to be if you can get through here, good on you.
We're gonna have to do this twice. We have to go there and back.
There might be another way out.
Or not. Okay, never mind.
Yes, but here's the thing. Is following the lava a safer bet?
Maybe flying over the lava?
That's what I mean. You're not there.
We're up in the air having this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could be in the bag. Claud could either be in the bag or like hanging off of one of us in weird sludge form. Cole can also fly. We could follow the lava river and hopefully not get hit with spores and weird insects and vines. I don't know if the vines are fireproof.
You're guessing when there's a lot of lava, probably at least heat resistant.
Okay, what about acid?
I mean, that probably they would not be probably immune to that, but that takes a while usually. It could work eventually.
Okay. I have Tasha's Caustic Brew prepped. Because it's one of the very few non-fire spells that I can do that hurt people, and I wanted it. Okay.
So, current plan is to just follow the lava.
Yes.
You know what? Good plan. I like it.
If I had time, I could potentially create the craft to navigate the lava.
I mean, we're not really on a timetable, but also, why not just follow the lava at this point if we can fly? It saves a lot of stuff.
It does.
Alright, let's go tell them that we're gonna follow the lava, avoid mushrooms, and actually, just avoid everything.
Yeah, avoid everything.
Don't touch anything. And that's coming from me, so you know it's going to be true.
Alright. So you can navigate your team of adventurers to a river of lava pretty safely. It's hot. What's your plans to travel through here without getting too close to the burning lava?
Fly above it.
Flight.
So you're just gonna use it as because it cuts through the jungles and stuff as a navigation tool.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
We're not flying too close to it. That's dangerous.
Yeah, fly high above it. There shouldn't be anything that's growing near it.
The lava rivers twist through this area here, and it is massive cavern. It is surprisingly massive. You're guessing there's a couple square miles at very least that exist in here. This was a valley that separated two sides of a the inside and outside of a volcanic caldera, so it makes sense that it would be massive and long. And the river seemed to follow it. You will eventually, though, find your way to the other side, where the lava rivers will once again tumble over the side of a massive, bleak cavern that goes just down into the earth. Yawning chasm. and the glow of the lava are all you see in front of you.
Well, the furnace is down.
Was that our best plan we've ever done?
It's a pretty simple plan.
Like, it's a simple plan. It worked really well.
I mean, honestly, like, when you're just saying fly over the lava river, I'm like, yeah, that's a perfectly fine plan. That's a smart plan. That's the smartest thing you could have done.
Yeah, we don't usually do that.
With us.
I was considering casting Autolus Resilient Sphere and a hamster balling through the jungle.
It would have been hilarious and would have worked too, because
it wouldn't have. It has a casting time of 1 minute.
Oh, so it doesn't last very long.
Because I was gonna say, if it lasted longer, you could also just put it onto the lava and ride the lava that way.
Oh yeah, it'll last a minute. Then that doesn't work either. It'll just end, and then like giant Venus flytrap or like horse-sized prey mantis will try to eat you or something. And honestly, like it's less that like you couldn't take it, and more that like everything here is deadly, so it would probably overwhelm you eventually. There's too much to fight is the kind of problem.
I mean, my best bet would have just been turned into treant. And hope plant doesn't attack plant.
You don't know.
No, man. Parasitic and carnivorous plants, like cannibalistic plants, those exist.
Yeah.
Said in hope.
And a lot of the insects might like you then.
Yes, a very nice tree. Time to eat!
Well, you're a tree that doesn't seem to fight back in the same way as the other things.
Yeah. I might get infested with termites.
Yep.
Yeah, and they're like, freaking termites the size of cats.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't need that going up my tree hole.
Anyway, why don't we take our break here, because this is a perfect time for it, before you go and figure out what you're doing with the gaping void of doom in front of you.
You mean dive down a gaping void of doom?
Kinky.
Kinky. Anyway, so if you need a snack, drink, bathroom break, go ahead and have them, and we'll be back in a little bit. Like this one here, and this one here, and this thing here, and we have returned! You face the void beneath you. Shall you venture deep down into the darkness?
No, I think we should just go home, guys.
Okay.
Please.
Yeah, let's just go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is for the best. You don't want to show off your weakness.
Yeah.
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 I already lost one arm, man.
I only got one more of those.
For now.
Anyway, I jump in.
Okay. I figured.
I'm in the back, so I have
Harry's
to
on a
jump in.
ride, so...
I guess I'll fly down there.
I mean, to be fair, I am still strong enough that I could probably just carry coal.
I don't know how much coal weighs. I don't think I ever wrote that down.
I have a 20 strength. I'm a big demon.
The lava tumbles down for perhaps hundreds of feet down in the darkness. It glows the brightness. But as you are heading down, you begin to see that there is a glowing beneath you. As eventually the chasm that you were in will break out into a massive cavern. Far greater than anything you've seen so far. A literal lake, nay, sea of lava is beneath you. Massive columns of stone twist between the down into the lava and up to the ceiling to seemingly support the ceiling. It is unfathomable now how big this area is. Certainly, it seems to go off in every direction, with no sign of an outer wall of this place. Just more heat, lava, in columns.
Is this the furnace? Because it is hot. This could just be this lake of lava could just be the furnace.
Claude,
Yes.
you can give me a history check with disadvantage.
Okay.
May I make a history check with advantage?
No, you wouldn't know anything about this.
Worth a shot.
Yeah.
Let's see. History.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, that was disadvantage. Ugh.
Nice.
You're not sure if it is or not, or if this is just something else. You don't know. You don't know enough about the furnace. You know there is something mechanical about it. So, if this is part of the furnace, there should be a mechanism somewhere.
If it is, there should be some kind of mechanism. I would suggest looking for that.
Can we ask our trusty bird guide that we've never asked for directions before?
Sure.
Sadia.
Oh, yeah.
Ha!
Yeah.
Yes! Good of you to release me from my normal hold within the bag.
Okay, you're allowed to be outside of the bag. You choose to be in the bag.
You normally have me kept there, as I am not a living creature and you don't usually have a task for me.
Okay, I have a task for you.
Excellent.
Guide us to the furnace.
All right. Give me a moment to align myself. Do you know if we are close to it?
Oh, yeah. I think so.
I believe so.
All right, then. He'll spend a few minutes just kind of sitting there. I believe I sense it. We do seem to be close to it. I don't know how close. The flowstone of my makeup connects with this place. This material below us is lava, but there is something about the entire this place that just seems vaguely familiar.
Technically, it's magma.
To right.
Nerd.
Yeah, I'm an artificer, obviously.
Can all of you give me perception checks as you begin to follow the bird?
I have eyes sometimes.
Yeah.
It's a 9.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, shit. That shouldn't have been disadvantage.
I'll take the first one, then an 18. Alright. So, Claude. Well, actually, let me just roll something else here. I'm going to roll for a bird. Maybe the bird will be... Yeah, bird's pretty perceptive, too. Strange. As the bird says that, you'll notice something too, Claude. There seems to be, like, strange metallic rings built into some of these columns.
Yeah. Do these metallic rings mean anything to you? I'll point them out.
Metal. I don't know. What do I know things?
Just
Are they
at first-
magical?
Oh yeah.
I would know that if they're magical, because that makes like.
You're not particularly close to them.
Do I see weird mana fucked up shit?
Honestly, every one of these columns seems to be filled with a lot of mana energy. Red mana for sure. But you'll also notice there seems to be a large amount of black mana. You're guessing that's from it just being Urborg? The Urborg volcanoes, of course, should have red and black mana. That logically makes sense. Though it is an odd thing to see it together, you know? Very odd.
It's weird, but this is Urborg, so it's always weird.
Always weird in Orville.
Yeah.
Continuing to follow the bird?
Don't have. Yeah.
I don't have a choice.
Who are the two people that are particularly flying right now? Or who are the people that are flying?
I'll just follow the bird, I guess.
So you and Carrie are the two that are flying individually?
Yep.
I need dexterity saves from both of you, and I'm going to roll as d20 for this
Alright,
bird.
Yes, I am carrying both Kaz and
12.
12.
Okay.
I can only give one of you a +5 because it's a reaction.
Mm-hmm.
I'm giving it to Carrion because Carrion is carrying.
Uh-huh.
That's fair.
I am carrying 2 of you, so.
Okay. That's good. Alright. So, I'm going to roll this first.
Alright, so I'll open up 5 Eatles and pick a new class then.
So 35 electric-based damage.
Wait, hold on. That may be half.
It'll be half for you,
Let me
Carrie.
Let me check. I may
you made
have
your-
that by now.
Yeah, because you made your save with a +5.
Electric or lightning?
Lightning, I guess it would be. I can't remember
that
the
means
5.
I halved because I have resistance.
So you'll take 8. Then the 2 people on you can make saves with normal. You've canceled out their disadvantage for not being able to avoid it on your top of you.
I'm in the bag.
Your bag's being electrified.
I did make it out of metal.
You did make it out of metal.
But still.
Dexterity?
Yeah, dexterity from Kaz and Claud, too. Just normal, though.
It is, like, actually kind of dumb that at no point as Storm Sorcerer do you get resistance to lightning.
No, you get immunity later.
You get immunity at 18th level, and that is it.
You don't
that's
have
fine.
absorb elements?
Kind of dumb, no.
Casual.
Oh wait, dex save. Is it save or check?
Save, dex save.
Save. Yeah, that guidance was
That
that.
It's a drop in the bucket.
Let's see. Well, at least I get +10. So, oh, damn it.
Gotta click
Forgot
that
to-
off. Yeah.
Yeah.
14 should be enough for you to take half.
Do you have evasion?
Yes, I do.
So you will take none. But Cole,
Yeah.
I need you then to make a strength save.
Alright, well, I'm actually decent at this.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so strange electrical, almost tendrils will seem to come out from these circles as you get close to one of them and try to grasp onto you.
Alright, fair enough.
They will hurt like a bitch because they're made of electricity. But you'll manage to, like, as it kind of, like, wraps around you, you'll manage to break away from it and basically fly away. A lot of you just kind of got brushed by it. As when you get away from it, they kind of, like, disappear away.
Does Bag Boy over here take any damage?
Bag Boy can take no damage because you're in the bag. I'll give you evasion.
I also did crit.
Yes.
Wait, I do have resistance. It's just buried under a wall of text.
Yay, wall of text. And you only take 17. Good news, I'm not nuked by electricity.
This is, honestly,
Everyone.
it didn't even drop me below half.
Man, I didn't expect it to. That's
Still
possible.
fighter.
Hard. Yeah, still fighting. So, yeah, that was odd.
It's weird.
I hate this place.
Little invigorating, honestly.
Be
Probably
electrifying.
means we're in the right place.
Does it?
Ow!
Thank you, Saudi, for proving my points.
Your bird seems to be in bad shape, but it's still alive. Because fortunately, it doesn't have bird stats. If it had bird stats, it would have been nuked. I appear to be highly damaged. Ah.
Claude, give it some of your flowstone.
I don't think it works that way.
I could continue to try to guide us, but I would need to avoid these things.
Okay, get in the bag.
Thank you.
One of these days, I'm just gonna end up carrying all of us at the same time.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
fine.
your name is Carrie.
So, sorry, can guide you from the bag. It'll take a little longer, and it'll be a little more difficult, and also avoiding the strange metal bands as best as you're possible, so as to not get caught in whatever kind of strange trappings are here. Will allow you to still travel deeper into this place and follow Saria. It'll take you a while. How long can you fly for, Cole?
That's about to wear out, I'm pretty sure, at this point.
Alright, I guess you're gonna be... Carrion's gonna be carrying everybody.
Yep. I mean, I can cast it again. I have another spell slot.
You could jump in the
But-
back.
I'll need to be held momentarily
Can't breathe.
so I can do it.
You can keep his head out the bag.
So I'll just,
No, I'm keeping my head out.
I'll
the
just
bag.
use my last third level to...
How long does it
recast.
last, anyway?
Not that long. So I probably already casted the amount of times I needed to. So I'm
Yeah,
actually out of good level slots then.
yeah, I think... unfortunately, I don't think it lasts that.
Some of my slots are a little messed up because my character sheet is cursed.
Oh, that's right, I keep forgetting. I didn't get you, like, a copy
I
of
don't
that
know
one,
what...
or
I have
one.
no idea what's wrong with it.
10
I don't
minutes
use
is decent, but, like, you have been traveling a pretty decent... These
Yeah.
are pretty big distances.
It's
So.
fine.
Okay. So, eventually though, you'll all be on carry as you're following the inklings of the bird, maneuver, because again, maneuvering around here, it's not a straight path. You're kind of like just going around and around and around, and you will eventually then make it to something different. There is a shaft of lava, like a waterfall, flowing up.
It's weird.
A little weird, yeah.
What's this?
It's a reverse lava fall.
Magma.
It's a magma elevator.
It seems to be going into like another nearly perfect circular chamber, like hole in the ceiling, filling the middle of it.
Is there space around it?
Yeah, there's some.
Enough to maneuver through?
Sure. Definitely.
Can I insight check the DM?
Yes.
Get you anywhere, but yes.
You're fine. You can go around it. There's plenty of space. There's probably like, honestly, like 40 or 50 feet around the side of this thing, on any side of it. So plenty of space.
All right.
Okay. So, following the lava flow up leads into a strange empty chamber where the lava flow seems to flow into what looks to be a structure on the ceiling. The chamber itself is kind of ovoid and kind of devoid of most stuff. Just empty.
Any ideas on that, Kaz?
It's just empty.
Well, there's a structure on the ceiling that the lava's flowing into. Like almost like a reverse pyramid where it's going into the center of it.
Okay, Sadia.
Whatever that is seems to be what I am seeking.
Can I? Is there any check I can do to figure out what this is?
Sure.
Oh, wait, I have... This is definitely Artifice.
Yes.
I have, Sense and Analyze Artifice.
Alright. You'd have to get a little closer, but as you approach it, you can analyze it. This is not the furnace itself, but seems to be part of it. This device seems still to be functioning. What you feel like is this is part of the original tower structure. Probably sheared off in the overlay. This would have been directly below the original tower. This seems to channel the lava up into the furnace, where the furnace would probably, you're guessing, just from analyzing what this part is, change the lava into raw flowstone.
Well, this is about as close to our destination as I think we're likely to get right now. Good job, everyone. Congrats on your first archaeological expedition.
Give me an investigation check on this thing.
Investigation?
Yeah.
$26.
You think you can find a way in?
I bet I can find a way in.
Well,
Y'all want in? Y'all want to get in?
Not.
Well, I guess that's why we came down here, isn't it?
it technically is.
We gotta put a bird in there.
I think the bird needs to get healed before we stick him somewhere.
Bird?
The
Verdict on whether or not you need to be healed before we stick you inside of a thing?
I don't know.
Great.
This is beyond my knowledge that I've been imbued with.
Do you know why we have to put you in the furnace beyond just the fact that the queen asked us to? Like, what's gonna happen?
I don't know for sure what will happen. I can give some speculations under what the information I've been provided with, but it also depends on the status of the furnace itself. Theoretically, the furnace is inactive. That wouldn't be very helpful.
It's still drawing lava into it.
We'll have to see what the materials is being handled, how everything is functioning. We've seen no sign of new flowstone being created in Dominaria, though. Have you?
I'm old.
I don't know. I don't think so. I sure would like it.
I think we might need to probably fix the furnace before anything. So I think we still would need to go deeper in to find out what's wrong with it.
You can head into the machine. This entire thing is complex. The network of what's the word I'm looking for? Scaffolding and walkways that leads those to kind of investigate and look into the material that's here. You can tell that what seems to happen is the lava is drawn into the system, where it's sent into kind of a reservoir. From that reservoir, it's tapped into a number of areas. From what you can tell through traveling through here investigating, currently, there seems to be something at the heart of this. The heart, the true device of it. The furnace. The furnace seems inactive. The lava seems to be channeled out in other tubes into other locations from here. So lava's flowing in and flowing out. But it seems like normally, originally, it would flow in first through the furnace before flowing onto those out supplies. seems like there was a system in place for turning off the furnace, perhaps for repairs or something, where lava would be sent out rather than liquid flowstone. But the mechanisms are in place. You can probably speculate, honestly, Kaz, because you know a little bit about this. Since Rath was supposed to be an artificial plane grown from flowstone, making the nature of all the rock and material made out of it. Honestly, it has to have a source of lava. You're guessing that Phyrexians must have tapped into some plane somewhere, or a number of them, and maybe created gates to which to flow the lava in. Probably down there, under the lava somewhere, there might be the remains of old gates. Granted, that gate technology doesn't work anymore. That's a known fact. But, more than likely, when it came over here, it might have merged with some of, well, Urborg's very volcanic, too. Honestly. And it seems like Urborg's own natural volcanism has been feeding this place, at very least to keep the seemingly old part of it working. Not 100%, since the furnace seems to be inoperable. But at least the flow of lava is functioning still. The furnace is surprisingly in good shape. You're not sure what caused it to go inactive in the first place. Maybe part of the overlay. Maybe it completed its task. You're not sure. The nature of it certainly seems to be Phyrexian in origin. That's obvious. But it's a little different than anything you've kind of seen naturally from Phyrexian technology. Like, you're guessing it's somewhere in between actually Thoranian and Phyrexian technology. They might have based it off of something that was a little bit more Thoranian.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly you might be able to get it active again.
Okay, I could maybe turn it on. Nobody has objected to this, so I'm going to do it.
Well, I think we have to power it up for our objectives, so...
Great, awesome, thank you. Kaz is going to go turn it on.
Okay. Activating the furnace as one person is not easy. Even getting the help from your friends, it still is a difficult and time-consuming task, taking hours. You're guessing they're an entire team of probably like maybe 4 or 5 dozen would be necessary to get this thing working and operational normally.
And I'm down an arm.
And you're down an arm, which doesn't help either. But certainly you are eventually able to bring the Furnace of Wrath to life. Granted, you don't really have a place to send the flowstone. So it's more that you can activate it and bring in the basic lava, but keep the intake flow very low, because you don't really have an outtake flow right now. Eventually you'd have to either create an outtake flow to send a lot of flowstone out, but generally you think you could tune it to very low settings, basically enough to like create flowstone for probably experimental reasons. You assuming that this thing, and rightfully so, probably had stuff set up for this. The furnace and the flowstone was used for more than just growing wrath. That was the main use of it. But certainly there was other uses of this, experiments with it.
Yeah, like growing Claud.
Yeah. So there had to be, and knowing that, you're able to adjust it to these lower settings almost. So it is basically operational.
Okay, I'm gonna take a lot of this. No one is objecting to this either. Great day for Kaz.
You can take some. You can take some. Channeling out the liquid flowstone is difficult, but possible. You'll find a way to be able to do it. It is currently magma hot. The furnace basically takes magma and uses it to create a network of miniature robots out of it that are still, like, metallically magma hot. There's magic behind it, too, because, you know, magic robots and stuff, because fucking that's what the Phyrexians technically are. But, you know, it's a process.
Magical board.
Yeah. How are you removing it? What are you keeping it in? And how much you trying to get?
It can form into things very easily, yes?
You would have to wait for it to cool down, which you're not sure how long that will take. Remember, it starts out magma hot. I'm not saying you can't take a sample of it. You just might have to be smart about how you're taking a sample of it.
I want so much. I'm greedy.
So you're saying Claud was once hot stuff?
No. Could I blow on it?
No.
Can I blow on the magma?
What if I blow really hard?
No.
Like magically hard?
I could beat it with my wings.
Probably not enough still.
Yeah, you would need to, like, liquid cool it.
Okay, what about ice?
It would still take a long time.
It would speed it up, certainly. There are things you can do to
Yeah.
speed up cooling it down. But you would have to do stuff to cool it down. Yeah.
Okay. Kaz knows smithing.
Yes.
Fish doesn't. This is a furnace.
Yeah. And it does produce a... The thing is, it creates a molten material that's going to be molten regardless. You're basically like... A closer way to describe it is if you would find some kind of... like a mercury ore and refine out the natural mercury in it. Something that when mixed together with... Because I'm sure something out there, I'm not 100%, you know, because mercury is liquid at room temperature. I'm sure there's some kind of, like, mixture you could probably find that would keep it in a solid form.
Yeah, an alloy.
An alloy. Yeah.
So I have to make a flowstone alloy.
Well, it already is an alloy, but the thing is, it's sort of like, after that refinement process, you still have the liquid mercury to deal with. So normally liquid mercury, it's room temperature. This is just...
It's just hot.
Yeah.
But my point is, if this is literally the refinery, then they must have a method of cooling it here.
From what you can tell, they did seem to have... There's probably like a couple of containers maybe left over that might have been for, like, you know, sealing it or transporting it. But they're like a couple of barrels. Whatever probably was actually used, not here right now. It might have not even been kept in this area because, honestly, again...
It normally had an output.
99% of the flowstone went to something else.
Into something else, yeah. Getting a sample is going to be hard.
Yes.
Do you have anything that can take a lot of heat?
Again, there are a couple of containers you could just put some into, and then just let it cool naturally. It's just, they're large, it'll take a while for it to cool down, and probably, like, the proper sealants on them aren't there right now, unfortunately.
I could fix that.
Well, yes, you could probably jury rig something, definitely.
Mending.
Yeah. Less mending and more like, you can't find the lids.
Yeah.
I have a shield made of a strange metal.
Uh-huh. You can make a lid out of one of them?
Well, I can't use my shield right now.
Yeah. So you could make a lid. So you could definitely make a lid for one of them. But you, and that would help on certainly the top of this thing. But you're gonna guess the barrel itself. It's probably made of material that would certainly make it that it would put up with the heat, but it's still gonna be hot. It's not gonna be. It's not probably immune to the heat. It's not gonna melt. It's just gonna be mostly terrible.
It's not going to be easily carried.
Yes.
Do you know what's probably really, really good for cooling things down?
Mm.
The frigidness of a vacuum.
Actually, the vacuum wouldn't
it doesn't.
be.
Yeah, that
A
doesn't.
vacuum, there's no heat transference.
Yeah.
Damn it, you're right. Fuck.
Unfortunate.
Sorry, science nerd.
No, it's okay. I called y'all out on lava instead of magma earlier. How long would it take for this to cool down naturally? As was pointed out, we're not on a time scale.
Well, Cole,
Probably.
do you have any ice spells?
Nope.
Okay.
I can transmute my spells into different elements.
I mean, you're going to guess
Sorcerer
that, like,
thing, but
if you naturally let it cool, it will probably take days to get down to, like, a reasonable temperature. Because you want it to get down... Because, again, like, the seeming material, it probably retains heat. The nature of it, you're thinking. Just from like, analyzing it, looking at it. Granted, that's a very important granted. It's probably not going to take so much time to get it to a level where you could seal off this thing here and not have to worry about it. Because that's the other thing here, is you have to be able to seal off your container.
Yeah.
That, maybe a day.
It's just so hot in here.
You're used to the heat.
I think it's nice and toasty.
You come from an island volcano.
Yeah, I know it's fine for me, but like the rest of you,
I'm fine.
Okay.
Cold, you might be in a sauna.
here's the thing. I have a very powerful ice spell, but it's also very destructive.
I don't think you want to destroy anything.
Yeah, Ice Storm might not be the best idea.
Yeah, it's big chunks of hail.
Yeah, that's big chunks of hail.
how much of this do you want?
Just honestly, one barrel would probably be fine.
Okay.
I mean, we probably can just rest down here as well.
Theoretically.
Worried about getting some of your spells back.
Theoretically speaking. Play it hypothetically. I think I can technically transmute, like, shatter into ice damage to try and cool it, but that's like, at the moment, I'm not really willing to spend a spell slot above second level.
That's fair. If we're willing to take a long rest here, I can just change with the spells I have prepped, and I can snag Secret Chest, and I'll just put it in a chest in the ethereal plane. I think 12 cubic feet would be a plenty.
How long does that spell last then?
After 60 days, there's a cumulative 5% chance per day that the spell's effect ends.
So more than long enough.
Yeah. I just want to get it back up to the surface.
In the ethereal plane, it's probably not going to change its nature.
No. I don't expect it to. This is just getting it up to the surface, away from all this ambient heat where it might cool down a little faster.
True. You also have to put a bird into the furnace.
Yeah. Hey, I know Artifice. That's a bird. That's outside my thing. I'm giving that to Claud's responsibility.
Okay.
Flowstone being to Flowstone being.
We're gonna miss Saurian.
We never did anything with Saria.
Saurian's still cool.
We forgot he was there for a year.
You did leave him in a bag for a year.
Hey, it's the only other Flowstone being we've had around. So, you know, a little bit like family.
Uh-huh.
Well, Soria, you want to finish your mission?
Yes. This part of it is now complete.
I hope you survive in some form.
The living will of the Great Queen is within me. I'm sure I will survive in some way as I go into the next being of being part of this entire endeavor. Good luck to you all. I thank you.
As well.
I thank you for allowing me to accompany you this far. I hope my teachings have been helpful.
They have been.
Shove. I mean, like, it's not as so easy to shove it in there. Like, there's probably, like, a system for, like, you know, maybe, like...
I didn't know if we had to actually shove or
There's probably a system for maybe, like, you know, testing things out and stuff like that. So probably you can figure that out and manage that. And it will take a little while, but you can add a bird into it. And, you'll let the material cool for a little bit as you rest, make a long rest here. The catwalks are not a super comfortable area to rest, but they're fine. And certainly the barrel of flowstone that you'd gotten together, you can let cool for a little bit.
Luckily, I just have to meditate, so I don't really...
It's towards the end of your meditation, though. You're going to hear something.
Is it Soria screaming?
No.
Good.
There's a metallic knocking noise.
I'll investigate it.
Seems to be coming from the area of the furnace where you shoved Saria.
Is there a way to open that?
I mean, you shoved him in there.
So reach in, basically.
You could open up and find out.
I will.
He's
now a phoenix.
As you kind of like open it up, like kind of like huge glob of like molten flowstone will kind of fly out, kind of blop itself onto the catwalk.
Soria? Is it moving at all?
It's just sitting there.
I'm sure it's probably also red hot.
Oh yeah.
Hmm. I don't know. Kaz?
We just went through a whole thing about how we can't cool it down fast enough to handle it, man.
Yeah, I understand that. It was banging around in there.
Ah,
I think Soria might still... I think this might still be Soria.
okay, what are you gonna do about it?
Can we try to scoop him up in one of your barrels?
Portally sealed.
I mean, like,
Well, he's not gonna
it's
slosh
red
out.
hot molten flowstone, but it's not like flowing out. It's just sitting there on like the catwalk.
Yeah, it's not gonna slosh around. It's not a lot. So it'd be like at the bottom of the barrel.
I mean, also how you like getting it into a barrel.
Yeah, how
I
you gonna
don't
get it in
know.
there?
That's why I'm asking you if you have
Do
any
you have mage hand?
ideas.
Do you have
Oh
mage hand?
yeah, there. I do.
It's more than 5 pounds.
Do you have unseen servant?
I do. I was just going to say that I do have an unseen servant.
How much can they carry?
I don't know because
5, maybe 6.
I'll kill you.
It has a strength of 2.
Then the answer's no.
I don't know how much strength of 2 could carry.
Not a lot.
What about if I use him and use Mage Hand to try to help him?
It's a big old chunk of liquid, like weird metal stuff.
I mean, just getting it up enough, like to, like tip the barrel over and plop it in, like
Sure, you can kind of scoop it up. It'll be like, oh no, I'm sorry. Your unseen servant dies.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It has a hit
Okay.
point. It burns.
As entertaining as this is, I'm just gonna cast levitate.
Okay.
I hate you.
Levitate works up to 500 pounds.
Yeah, that's fine.
I don't have that spell, and I don't know that off the top of my head.
Nice.
I do have that spell. And ever since my bag exploded, I always have it prepped.
Alright. Good news. You've gotten it lifting up. You can kind of maneuver a barrel underneath it and kind of drop it in there, the other barrel. There you go. Okay. So,
We might want to keep this.
There's the levitate spell for y'all.
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize. I didn't know how much it was up to. And I didn't even think about that. But like I
I
said,
wanted to
can't
see what
cast-
you would do.
Flip you off.
I wanted to give you a shot.
I don't have that many spells.
I wanted to see what happened. You're a warlock.
I'm a warlock, Harry.
Okay. So that was a simple solution. To a
Yeah.
complex problem.
Eventually, the barrel will be cool enough you can put it into your new spell. And the other barrel will have something weird in it. No longer has a ball of flowstone. It appears to be a miniature still pretty big because it fills up a good chunk of the barrel, but a miniature recreation of the furnace.
Dibs. Nobody's saying no to this one either. Banner day for Kazzrann.
Again, why would I say no?
I don't expect you to. It's the two who are the calm, logical ones.
Oh, I can't use it. Just be careful with it, please.
Claude, you get the sense that probably it won't work for Kaz.
Ah.
Because you're supposed to deliver it somewhere.
Yeah, I think we have to take it back to the queen.
It
I
perhaps
don't
has the
think
will
this
of a bird in there somewhere.
Yeah. He's not going to operate for you.
Well, we're gonna wait here for 8 hours until I can get the right spell to transport 12 cubic feet of this horse shit.
That, this is at the end of the 8 hours, so you have the right spell to transport 8 cubic feet of this shit.
Good. Give me a sec to first do a long rest, then remove the
Yeah.
levitate spell slot, which,
Yeah.
honestly...
You can also probably put a bird furnace in there. I'm sure it has enough space for a barrel and a bird furnace.
No, I was gonna fill the 12 cubic feet with just raw flowstone.
Ah, okay.
And then we'll put the bird furnace in the bag.
Yeah.
Well, is it still hot, or...
The bird furnace is less hot. It seems to have cooled down a lot quicker. Maybe because it's like a semi-sentient recreation of a furnace created using a bit of flowstone from that lady so that they could create more very easily. By basically copying the furnace. Because they can't really steal this thing. It's huge!
So they could repopulate their society.
I mean, you know... Less that and more that, like, you know... They're a society of shapeshifters and a shape-shifting metallic material that,
Be useful for them.
yeah. Very.
I don't see how this can go wrong.
It can't.
Yeah.
I trust the queen.
She's totally a nice lady. But anyway, that's probably a great place to leave it off of. You finished your furnace quest.
Woo! I gotta go build a boat.
Now you just have to get out of here.
Cutscene.
Well, we know how to get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
You said there'd be another way.
I said there might be. I didn't say there would be.
You can always investigate it and see if you can find something. But we'll leave that till next time. That's a
We
quick thing.
summon Carrie's aunt, and she teleports us out.
I mean,
Yeah.
she just ended up hanging out and good, like the party. The party was fun.
Yeah.
I forgot to explain to my brother why he's an idiot.
Yeah, you didn't. You just were like, you know, you're an idiot. And then, you know, as he was like, yeah, victory, party. And then you just... And he's probably like, brother, you lost an arm. You two have proven yourself a great hero.
Oh my god, fuck off. It's like, you do all these heroic things, and don't you think it's like a miracle that while you're doing all these heroic things, none of the little grunts ever, like, manage to shoot you with an arrow? Guess why that is? It's not because they're not trying. It's because I'm blowing them to hell.
I got shot with arrows. What are you kidding about? They bounce off of my great armor. Don't worry, brother. You've proven yourself this day. Perhaps you, using your mechanical abilities, you can give yourself a new arm. Wouldn't that be swell?
I've
You're not
I-
allowed to get him.
I tore a hole in the fabric of reality, and somehow I'm considering worse atrocities now.
Come now, come now. Let us drink and make merry at our victory. This is the scene we should have had earlier.
We're doing back, like a... What
Flashback.
Oh,
You're just
flashback,
remembering
yeah.
this event and just being like...
This is what you dreamt about tonight.
You're having nightmares. It's the horrible wound that, you know, losing an arm and stuff. It's giving you nightmares still. It gives you
And
phantom
knowing
memories.
all this, and then by the time we get back up to the surface, there's an elder dragon who's going to want to chew us out.
You still have a wreckage of a predator to find, too.
I will find it. Why do you think I wanted the flowstone?
It's gonna help in repairing stuff, so that's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Or at least maybe getting those engines back up and running. A liquid metal material that can be adapted to other physical forms. Anyway, so yes, we shall leave it here for this day. let's give some shout-outs. Max, do you have anything to shout out on this fine Thursday?
I'm here.
Most excellent. Fish.
Hi, everybody. I'm Fish Harlan. This week, I'm going to be attempting heresy, blasphemy, and apostasy all in one go. Haven't figured it out yet, but the Pope's going to be so mad.
Good luck on that one.
Thank you.
You're gonna have to give us a report. Momo.
Yeah, I'm here for Buccaneers of the Shackled Sea and discussing tabletop.
Cool. And Yosef.
Shout, shout, shout it all out. That's my shout.
Okay. That's just enough riffs of the song to not get us in trouble.
Exactly why.
The lyrics
I
are
don't
also,
think those. Yeah,
the lyrics are also wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, he kind of sung the lyrics. It's not a lot, but like you I know it's like you can only do so many seconds of something over it, like you get in trouble or something. But anyway, myself, as I'm kind of in the mysterious void here, just because darkness and heat. Tantus now than Dracovin. I shall be back tomorrow morning, and I'm gonna have the finale of Rath, my single player series. I might do a group series on it some point soon. But I wanted to play through it on, like I've played through a lot of survival games on my own. If I finish that up, I'm thinking I'll probably just do some more, like, I haven't decided which I'm going to do. I can do some more Final Fantasy 12 or some Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous. I might do that battle area that I'm in. I'll do one of those. Discussing tabletop on Saturday. I had said to people I'm going to announce this weekend if I can get enough work done whether or not I'm going to plan for next week. Actually, no. That's right. We're going to be off one more week for Buccaneers because it turns out we're going to be missing someone anyway, and then I can just get an extra week of work. Is that what we decided?
Yeah, Eric's not in town that week.
Yeah, and I wanted to have at least try to get everybody around for that one. So another week off, third week off, that's fine. When we took our break in between seasons, I did say, like, we could have 3 weeks off. So when we learned about that, I'm like, that's not an issue. Also, Cell hasn't had internet for like a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then more Final Fantasy 12, which again is one of my top Final Fantasies. After playing through 6, I was like, I kind of want to play 12 Zodiac Age because I haven't played that one. And I owned it, so I decided to. It's not in order anymore because I don't have Doom in order anymore since I played through all the Pixel remasters. And then I'll do some more Pathfinder Wrath Righteous. And I might add another one in there. I don't know. I'll see what I want to do for Steam schedule for next week. I'll probably by ear. But yeah, so we'll be back next week for Chillin' Wrath and discuss tabletop this weekend. So I hope everybody has had a great evening and enjoyed the show. Some crazy adventures and exploring and some good decisions. I mean, they happen occasionally from our team. And you've completed your mission and gotten for the Vesuvians a miniature flowstone furnace that's a lot better than their thing that they had before to create more flowstone for their, society, which probably is helpful for a society of shapeshifters to have, like, a shape-shifting material. So, honestly, they could just, like, make, like, actual clothes out of it rather than having clothes that are part of their body. So they could have, like...
Yeah, like I used to. Oh.
You still do that a lot. You make stuff out of your body. It means that if it gets damaged...
I have a set of shape-shifting clothes.
Yeah. But if you, like, have, like, armor and stuff based off of you that shapeshifts with you, it means if it gets damaged, you still get damaged.
Yeah.
So it's not always a great idea to have that. Having a separate material from you that shapeshifts with you, that seems like a great plan to make your life better. Also, they probably could do a lot of horrible things with it, but traditionally Vesuvius is pretty neutral. That's the good news.
Yes.
They keep to themselves. Anyway, bye for now, everybody. Farewell!
Boy.